Hey folks, welcome to the install guide and walkthrough for our new head-to-head plugin package. Lets you compare two drivers, race pace, and kind of predict when they're going to catch each other. We'll start with the install process. Same as always, you're going to open up SDK, go to your settings, go down to the overlay section, find the plugins, click in this box, then click the ellipses. That'll bring up your plugin manager. You're going to come down here to the bottom left, click import, pull in that head-to-head plugin file. You'll find it here. Then go to the top right, go to the components tab. This is how you get your remote added. Come down to the bottom right and hit add to remote, and that will give you this handy dandy remote component here. So we've got a IndyCar race up just to try and showcase what it does. We're not going to be able to see all the features because I doubt we'll catch a caution or pit stops in this one, but they do have some good green flag pace. And so let's go ahead and just show it here. So the way this works is you grab two drivers. One of them is going to be your selected driver, whoever you're looking at with the camera. In this case, we're looking at that P7 number 13 car. And I believe it's P7. Let's see. It looks like the tower has different data at the moment. Double check we're looking at the right thing. I think it might have just not updated. Ooh, we are going to get a caution right there. And hopefully that will let us showcase some of the features of this plugin. So basically what this does, it takes the last 5 lap times for whatever two drivers you're looking at. One is going to be your selected driver, and then you have the option of selecting the driver ahead, the driver behind, the leader, or any specific car you want to compare them to. You just type in their number. So in this case, we've got the number 6 here that pulls up Pasquale, comparing them to the driver we're looking at, which is Fryer at the moment. You also have the option in a multi-class race to change what these positions are to be class-based versus overall. And the class data is not populated in this Indy race, so it's not going to show you, but that changes how the ahead and behind and leader drivers are chosen. It also changes what positions are shown in the graphic. But it just gives you the option if you need to compare. If you're doing a multi-class IMSA race or something, you're definitely not really interested in the gap to, you know, the other class drivers around the one you're interested in, or their pace or their lap deltas. So you're going to want that there, and then you can choose which class set you're looking at with these buttons. These class set buttons are just a copy of what's available in the SDK settings. I think it's called driver settings at this point. It's changed the last few times, but if you're already selecting that class set in your settings for your other multi-class overlays, you won't have to worry about doing it here. And so this is a good moment to point out. So the plugin does its best to kind of digest and filter the lap information. There's going to be some edge cases where it doesn't quite work, but yellow flag laps are thrown out of the calculation, and you can see in the overlay it's labeling them as yellow instead of giving a lap time. It's not going to use that to calculate the predicted catch. So in the remote, there's 3 buttons up top. Hide obviously turns it off. Then there's a show with no catch and show with catch. So if you hit show with no catch, it looks like this. You just get that delta time, that live delta time in the middle of the overlay. But if you wanted to predict if someone's catching someone and how many laps it's going to be until they catch them, or how long it will be in time, say you're doing an endurance race and you're trying to figure out you've got an hour left, are you going to catch that guy in front of you before the race ends? It will give you a lap number prediction, how many laps it'll take to catch. And again, this is just based on those 5 lap average lap times. And it will throw out any laps where the person, either driver has pitted or there's been a full course yellow. So hopefully we'll get to watch this as they go back to green. It should label this lap as a pit lap, and then label all the other yellow flag laps as yellow, and then start calculating again the pace once we go green flag. While we're waiting on that, we'll talk about the other piece of data here. So you've got the car logo, Their club flag will be shown for all the drivers there, their name, their position, their car number. And it's also going to show you what they did on their last pit stop. And so this uses the same pit stop assumptions that a lot of our other overlays use. It's not perfect. You do have to, know what time assumptions you want to use. So in NASCAR races, the times I like to use are 8, 12, and 18 that's listed here. And again, the way this works is if you watch a pit stop, you kind of get a feel for how long each type of pit stop should take, and then you can put these assumptions in based on the car and the race situation that you're looking at. So for cup cars and trucks, it's usually 8, 12, and 18, because anything under 8 seconds I know is fuel only. Anything between 8 and 12 is going to be a 2-tire stop. Anything over 18 seconds, and that's being pretty generous. That's giving people time to check their phone and maybe grab a drink before they head out of their pit stall. That I know that's going to be for repairs. So this is just to kind of add a little bit of context. If you're watching a driver on 4 tires chase down a driver who went fuel only on that last stop, not only will you get how much newer those tires are based on how many laps since the pit, but you also know what tire strategy they are on. And as I mentioned, you can see the plugin is labeling these laps as pit. So both the in and out lap for a pit stop are labeled pit, because both of those times will kind of be useless in calculating pace. And then anything else that happens under yellow will be under yellow, and then it will start logging those green flag laps. Hopefully they're going back green flag here in just a minute, and we can watch the fresh laps get there and watch a predicted time period. But yeah, this one is also compatible with the themes, the CDSN themes component, so you can change the look to match whatever you want. I'm not sure how many people actually use my themes, but they're there just to kind of shake it up. I know the Velocity, this one's pretty popular. There's also the ones that kind of look more like old school Fox Sports, new school NBC, whatever you like. And you can kind of look through the stylings there. Again, if you're not familiar with where those stylings live, back in the plugin manager, there's a styling tab for each of the plugins, and you can go through. I try to break it out so that you can update things easily, and then down here at the bottom you can see what each of those CDSN themes is doing. It would be really easy for you to copy paste this and then kind of tweak one to your own liking if you have a different style that you personally prefer. And again, let's see if we can get a green flag lap or two to show you the pace predictor. It will not show you anything until it has at least 2 clean laps, but it will use up to 5 if there are 5 valid laps with no pits and no cautions. And it also throws out the very first lap after a green flag, because that one is usually tainted by the restart procedure. Cars usually aren't up to speed, and that one can be a bad data point to use for predicting pace. So we'll just kind of let this run here for a few laps, and then we'll talk about what you can see. Again, I think what's really neat is if you know somebody stopped here on a different strategy, maybe we care about the number 24 Michael here, and we know he's on the best pit strategy or something, and we actually want to compare him to the leader. All we've got to do is switch over to comparing him to the leader to see if he's going to be catching that driver. Another way you could use this is you could hit this compare to leader button and then just do a full rundown of the whole field. So you could start with the leader. Even if you compare to the leader, it automatically switches to comparing the first and second drivers if you're looking at the leader. And then you could run down and see, is anyone actually catching this guy? Is anyone catching Encinas? And now that so now we've got our 2 lap numbers that we can use for averages. So you can see Diego in P2, he's losing. He's not catching the leader. He caught him a little bit that last lap, but on average, he's losing. Let's see if we can find anyone actually catching the leader. So all of these, again, that catch data down in the middle of the overlay is just going to show you who's gaining, who's losing. And right now it looks like everyone is losing to this leader. So let's switch it to a behind and see if, there we go. We've got these two drivers in 9th and 10th. It looks like the Hester had a really bad lap. This one before, he was 2 seconds off pace. And so it looks like Roberts is catching him. Should catch him this lap if he can keep that pace up. But it looks like they might even out. And so this is kind of the give and take of this. It's doing simple math. It's just using the average delta over the up to 5 laps. In this case, there's only 3 valid laps in those 5 laps. And so if it's helpful, great. If it's not, that's why this show with no catch option is there. If you don't find that predictive math to be accurate enough for your broadcast, you can toggle it off. But I mean, it sure looks like we were right on that one. There goes Samuel by him. Kind of just how we predicted. I think this will be much more useful when you have varying tire strategies or varying fuel strategies. If you know someone's saving on fuel and someone else is going all out, I think it'll be really interesting to plug that in. And so I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is maybe one of the most complicated ones I've built, but I think the insights it can give you as a broadcaster to really break down differing strategies is going to be really helpful. Hopefully as helpful to you as I find it for myself, whether it's road racing or NASCAR or Indy. So I hope you enjoy this one.